This is our newest loom called the Speed Loom, similar to the Happy Loom. However, this helps you loom twice as fast. There's two parts of it. You have a speed loom and a dual hook. For the Speed Loom, you can hold it similar to how you would hold a Happy Loom in your dominant hand, whichever is comfortable with you. Sometimes I like to put my index finger in the back for stability. For the dual hook, we have this hook in the back, and there's two ways to use this. First, you can attach a rubber band, insert your thumb through the band, then place your thumb on the dual hook like this and with your index finger in the back. The first method with the rubber band allows you to place your bands and loom without putting your dual hook down. All you have to do is place your bands on top of the loom, pick up the hook, loom, and repeat. Now, the second method is without the rubber band. The way that I like to hold it is in between my index and middle finger like this. After that, all you have to do is place your bands on your loom, switch back to holding position, loom, and repeat. Let's begin learning how to start the chain. You'll first grab a band and place it onto the left peg, then twist the band away from you and place it onto the right peg. Don't let it go yet. You're going to twist the band towards you, then flip the band, and then you're going to twist the band towards you again and drop it down on the left peg. So here we basically have a double figure 8 with using one band. So I'll repeat that step again. Feel free to skip this if you already got it. Place your band on the left peg, twist away from you, place it on the right peg. You're going to twist it towards you. Now I'm going to do a little flip with the band. And then you're going to twist the band towards you again, and then place it on the left peg. I'm going to place my band onto my hook and get into holding positions. You're going to take your dual hook and use the side of it to push your bands down like this. Now you're going to grab a second band and just place it on the loom, and you'll do the same thing with the third band. I'm going to take my dual hook, grab the very last band. This might be a bit hard since there's tension on this band, and I'm going to loop it over the loom, and this will sit in the middle, and I'm just going to use my hook to push down the bands. I'm going to grab another band and place it on top, and before you use your dual hook, always make sure that there are 3 bands on the loom. I'm going to grab my dual hook and take the last band and loop it over the loom like this. Then I'm just going to use my dual hook and push my bands down. I'm now basically going to repeat the step of adding a band and pulling over the very last band over the loom, and then using my dual hook to push down the bands. I'm going to speed up the process in the next few seconds, but feel free to pause until the chain reaches the desired length for the Lumi. One tip that I like to keep in mind is that once that chain passes over that center U shape, I like to put my thumb on the chain to keep it from moving while I loom. To measure my Lumi, I'm going to place it on top of the suggested loom guide. I'm going to make sure that my 2 bands on the loom matches the bands on the guide. Be sure that the gray line is in between your 2 bands. Now I'm going to gently straighten but not stretch the chain to see if I have the accurate measurement. This should line up close to the dotted line. Once you measured it, be sure to move on to the next video where I'll show you how to complete your chain. So you've just finished measuring your chain on the suggested loom guide, and now we're going to move on to completing the chain. With only 2 bands on the loom, we're going to take our dual hook and pull over the very last band like this, and then we're going to push the bands down. Now take your Lumi hook and we're going to slide it under the band, and then take it off of the loom, and then we're going to hook the left band, and then take the chain completely off of the loom. Now that the chain is on the Lumi hook, we're going to tie the chain by pulling the hook upwards and to the right. If you're left-handed, you would be doing the opposite of what I'm doing. And you'll start to see a knot form, and once that's nice and tight, you can unhook your Lumi hook. We now have this loop. What we're going to do next is we're going to tuck this loop either on the right side or the left side into the chain, whichever feels comfortable to you. If you stretch out your chain, you'll notice these little holes. This is where you're going to aim your Lumi hook in when you do this next step. I'm going to take my Lumi hook, I'm gonna insert it from the right side of the chain and I'm gonna hook it onto the loop. Then I'm gonna take my Lumi hook and pull it to the right. I'm gonna insert my Lumi hook back into the chain and push it to the left. I'm gonna twist my Lumi hook and it's gonna unhook the loop. And now I'm gonna place my thumb on top of the hook and gently pull out. I'm gonna make sure all the loop is tucked into the chain and nothing is poking out. And there you have it, a completed chain. Be sure to apply this method to your other chains that need to be completed for your Lumi. Now that you've finished completing all your chains for Hammy, I'm going to show you how to insert the chains into the frame. Starting with part A, you're going to take your chain and place it on top of the guide to follow the chain coil. You're then going to hold that coiled chain together and transfer it to the top section of the frame. Once that coil is placed on top of the frame, use your fingertips to push the chains down. This step might take a few minutes, so feel free to pause if you need to. I'll even pick up the frame to make it easier for myself so I can use my thumbs to push down all the chains. Now moving on to part B, a simple insert into the middle frame. When you insert your chain, start by pushing in from the sides of the chain and then move towards the middle. Inserting your chains like this will help avoid creating additional gaps and holes in our Lumis. This step might take a few minutes, so feel free to pause if you need to. Lastly, in part C, you're going to place your chain on the guide, which shows you to fold your chain in half. You're going to take that piece, then transfer it to the bottom section of the frame. Once that chain places on top of the frame, use your fingertips to push them down. This step might take a few minutes, so do feel free to pause if you need to. Now we're going to use the fork side of our Lumi hook, and with this tool we're going to press down any bands that we still think we need some additional pushing down on. For Hammy, there's not much to do, but I'm still going to use my fork to push down the bands just in case if they do pop up. This step might take a few minutes, so do feel free to pause if you need to. Once you're done, you can move on to the next video where I'll be showing you how to insert your Lumi accessories. In this video, I'm going to guide you through putting your accessories on your Lumis. Pick an accessory that you want to take out. Try to aim for the ones that are attached to two legs only. You're then going to want to twist the accessories back and forth like this, and it should easily come off. For those hard and tricky accessories with 2 or 3 legs, you can use nippers, or in this case I'm using scissors, and you're just going to cut it off from the frame. After that, you're just going to clean up the sides just in case it has some additional edges that are sticking out like this. Now that you've picked out all the accessories that you want to put on your Lumis, we're going to move on to inserting them into the frame. With your accessory, you're just going to simply insert them into the band. A tip to keep in mind is to insert the pegs of your accessories in the middle of the chains. Be sure to hold the accessory in place for a few seconds before letting go. Sometimes an accessory may pop out, which just means you just need to readjust the placement of it. Another tip is to start from the top of your Lumi and work your way down, or vice versa. I tend to find that a lot easier, so I'm not bumping into my accessories and that they're not falling out. The really neat thing about Lumis is that there is an endless combo of accessories that you can do for each character. You can also swap the accessories from one kit to another. And there you have it, a completed Lumi. Be sure to check out our other Lumi characters that we have in stock. Thank you for watching. Bye!